All right, I am here with the man who needs no introduction, Mr. Rich Piana himself. I finally wrestled him away from the booth, away from the crowds, to get a second to talk to him and, sit and let me know what's going on. How's it going today?
Boy, you calling me the man is going fucking great now.
Nice. Okay, so I've been talking with some of the other 5%ers, some of the other athletes. We get asked all the time, what is a 5%er? What can I do to be a 5%er? And I know you've answered this 1,000,002 times, and for the 1,000,003rd, just let the people know what a 5%er is, what they need to do to be a 5%er.
I would love to answer that question because everyone still thinks it's body fat. That's what I constantly hear all the time. Hey, is that 5% body fat? And I'm like, do I look like I'm 5% body fat? I wish I was 5% body fat. No, basically, 5%ers is basically 5% of the people in the world that are willing to do whatever it takes to reach their goals. And it's basically whatever those goals may be. And a lot of people think it only has to do with the body, with the outer shell. And what these people have to realize is there's so much more to life than the body. There's much more to life. And it's sad that a lot of people, that's all they live for is, working on the outer shell and not working on the inner shell, which, is truly the most important part. A lot of people ask me constantly, they say, hey, Rich, am I a 5%er? Hey, Rich, how far am I from being a 5%er? Hey, Rich, do you think I could ever be a 5%er? And that's a question that only they can answer, is because it's a mentality. So it's like, basically, do you have the mental, ability to sit there and do whatever it takes to reach your goals? And, 95% of people in the world don't. They'll give up, or they'll just talk about it. One day I'm going to open a gym. All of us bodybuilders, our dream is to open a gym, right? So people will say, I'm going to open a gym. That's what I'm going to do. But the reality is they never are going to open a gym because, they're not going to do whatever it takes to achieve that goal. So, a 5%er is that person that goes in there and they say, I'm going to open a gym. And, 6 months later, they have a gym open, And, like you guys, for instance, own tattoo shops. So you guys are very successful. You own a bunch of different businesses. So therefore, not only are you an IFBB Pro physique girl, a pro, you also own businesses. So you're doing very well financially. And, as far as business-wise and success, you're doing very well. So that's a perfect example of a 5%er.
All right, so there, you've heard it from the man himself, what it takes to be a 5%er. What a 5%er is. If you ask me again, I'm just going to quote him. So listen, watch it, rewind it, Google it, find it. Now, we put that aside. We've answered the question, finally from the man's mouth himself. So, we've heard lots of talk now today about Olympia and what to expect, and that the 5% is coming huge, bigger than ever seen at any other convention.
Right.
But I've only heard rumors, so straight from you again, what are we going to expect from Olympia?
Well, we're going to have 10 booths. We're probably definitely going to be, the biggest booth there. We're definitely going to have the biggest line there. No, I can't say that. There's a lot of other popular people, but we are growing very fast, and it's awesome. It's a great feeling. And the thing is basically, we cater to everybody, so everyone out there can fit in and be a 5%er, and basically I see it as a family camaraderie where, we all motivate each other to help push each other to accomplish their goals, and the sad thing is with social media and everything these days is there's just a lot of hate, and it's a lot of people that are involved in the bodybuilding community are hating on other bodybuilders, and that's just makes no sense. We get enough hate from the general public, the women that get muscles, and the general public's like, oh, how could they do that? Why would they want to, it's like, and then our own people are going to hate on each other, so, one of my missions is to get people to realize, that there's no reason to hate. We should all be together and help motivate each other, and, instead of looking for the negative, look for the positive. In every Instagram post, you can find the positive or you can find the negative. And, there's people out there that purposely try to find the negative in every post, and they are doing the same thing we're doing. And what's the point of that? So that's another mission. But back to the Olympia, yeah, it's going to be it's going to be off the hook. We're going to have an awesome time. I mean, like I said, 10 booths. We're going to have a party Thursday night before the Olympia, and a couple people are getting married Thursday night, a couple 5%ers, and it's going to be a pretty incredible time. And if you guys go to Olympia, you guys got to stop by our booth, say what's up, and not only say what's up, you know, I want people to feel like they're part of the family. You know, they can come hang out at the booth, they can come hang out with the athletes. You know, they're welcome to be part of what we're doing. You know, we want people to be part of what we're doing. That's our whole premise. So it's not just waiting in line, taking a picture and leaving. You know, it's hanging out, it's talking to the other 5%ers. We're going to have over 60 athletes there. So the people can come and talk to all of those athletes and ask them any questions they want, you know, any information. And, you know, we have a lot of IFBB pros that are athletes, and we have a lot of incredible powerlifters and, you know, people that have a lot of good information. And you're welcome to come ask these people questions and sit there for hours and hang out with us and have a good time. So we want it to be not just stand in line, take a picture, and leave. You know, actually join us and have a good time and kick it at the booth, and, you know, that's what I'm hoping for. Come to our booth at the Olympia.
You heard it. You heard it. 5% family. It's my biggest pet peeve when people say, oh, I saw you there, but you look busy, so I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Come, talk to me. That's what we're here for. You know, I'll talk to anybody for hours. I sit here and I'll boogie with you. And
you'll help them and you'll give them advice.
Yeah, advice and anything I can do.
Right.
So, that being said, come down to Olympia. We'll be there. It's the biggest booth. You can't miss us. And anything new that you want to talk about coming down the line for 5% Nutrition? Any new products? Any new?
We have new products coming out, and, you know, it's very difficult for us because I will only put things out there that I truly believe in. And, you know, that pretty much leaves me about 8% of the products out there that I can actually put out there because, you know, most of it, like everyone knows, I believe is, you know, just bullshit. You know, I'm not going to come out with a weight gainer. I'm not going to come out with protein powder. I'm not going to come out with test boosters. I'm not going to come out with growth hormone releasers. You know, there's just all these products that I refuse, you know, to produce. Now, it's very difficult because other people involved, you know, they realize the amount of money we're losing, we're missing out on. You know, products like Waxy Maize, you know, you can buy the product for $3 and sell it for $60. You know. And, you know, and so, you know, they're just like, oh, you don't know how much money we can make. And it's like, it's really, I don't want to say it's not about money because that would make me look stupid, because it really is. You know, you have a business for money. But, you know, as far as coming out with bullshit products, you know, and selling it to 16-year-old kids that don't know any different, like, I wouldn't stoop that low to make a little bit extra money, you know. So, also test boosters, huge market for test boosters, you know, and for everyone out there, you got to realize that you either take steroids or you don't. You take steroids or you're natural. There is no natural steroid that you buy at a supplement store. There never will be. And this has been going on for 30 years. Companies every year come out with these natural steroids you buy over the counter, and people just keep buying them. When I think they really deep down inside know there's no way, you know, you're going to find a natural steroid. It's impossible. So, you know, you decide, you make a choice. Don't want to take steroids, you want to be natural. And that's what you are, you know. And these companies are coming out with, you know, 100% bullshit products. And if they are real, does it make sense to take steroids? You don't know what your dose is. You don't know what kind it is. You know, because there's companies that have came out with, you know, it's basically steroids over the counter, but they ruin people's livers because you don't know what's in it. You don't know what, you know, at least if you're taking a steroid cycle, you're aware of what you're taking. You're aware of what you're putting in your body. You know, you buy something over the counter, you don't know what it is. You don't know how much it is. You don't know what kind of damage it's going to do. So, but we're going to keep coming out with new products. It's just difficult because there's not many things we can do that I truly believe in. But we are going to have a new pre-workout coming out, and the reason for that is that the pre-workout, for me, I believe in, is all about the pump, the focus, you know, and more important than the stimulants. And there's a lot of people out there that all they care about is the stimulants, and that's all they judge a pre-workout by. So a lot of people constantly ask me about that. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to come out with a crazy ass pre-workout that's just has more stimulus than any other product out there, and it's just going to make you insane, you know, and just make you a crazy lunatic in the gym. A lot of people want that, you know, and so I'm going to give it to them. And I'm telling you, it's going to be the craziest pre-workout ever. So that's something we're working on right now. It should be out in the next couple weeks. So look forward to that.
Nice. You heard it here first. Get your playlist ready. Crack coming down the pipe. All right. I want to thank you for taking time. I know how busy you are. This is the hardest working man in fitness. And I can't wait to the Olympia. I'm excited. I hope to see you all there. And, you know, we'll see what happens next. Thank you.
Thank you.
For sitting down with me. And
thank you.
I'm going to puff up now. Wait.
Oh, man.
Good.
We're golden.
We're golden now.
Look how lean she is.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
She's on my team.
And I enjoy it.
She's a huge asset to my company. And her husband, Mike, is a huge asset.
Shout out to the man. Right?
Exactly.
All right. Wrapping up the Anaheim Fit Expo.
I can talk all day.
Getting out of here. See you later.
All right, guys.